When you hear the phrase gold rush, what does your imagination paint? The romance of the Wild West? A happy shout of "Eureka!" and a fist-sized nugget gleaming in the sun? Erase that image. That is a Hollywood myth. The real gold rush of 1849 didn't smell like adventure. It smelled of stagnant water, unwashed bodies, dysentery, and gunpowder. It wasn't a lottery of luck, but the most massive migration in US history, driven by pure, undiluted desperation. Today, using artificial intelligence and eyewitness diaries, we will peel back the layer of romantic dust. We are traveling to California not as tourists, but as the men of 49. You will feel the cold of the mountain river, the weight of the pickaxe, and the madness of inflation that force people to pay as much for a single egg as they would for gold. Welcome to 1849. Our journey begins here, in Yerba Buena Cove, which is about to become San Francisco. In 1848, 800 people lived here. A year later, 25,000. Look at the harbor. That isn't a merchant fleet. It is a graveyard of ships, a forest of masts stretching beyond the horizon, hundreds of vessels rotting on the water. Do you know why? As soon as a captain dropped anchor, the crew deserted. Sailors, cooks, officers, everyone fled to the mountains. There was no one left to sail the ships back. Step ashore. Careful, don't drown. That is not a metaphor. The streets of San Francisco are liquid mud mixed with manure and trash. There were legends that mules and even drunken prospectors drowned in this quagmire. To cross the street, people threw down crates of tobacco, sacks of coffee beans, and even kitchen stoves under their feet. All of this was cheaper than paving the roads with wood. The city was built faster than the ink could dry on the maps. Tents turned into wooden shacks, and shacks burned to the ground, only to be rebuilt in a week. It was a city of men. There were fewer women here than there was gold. But you aren't here for the city. You are here for the diggings, the mines. You need to walk hundreds of miles to the foothills of the Sierra Nevada. You buy a shovel, a pick, and a cradle, a device for washing soil, and you walk. Look at the faces of these people. They were called Argonauts. Teachers, farmers, lawyers, soldiers. They left their families, sold their farms, borrowed money. There is no joy of travel in their eyes, only the terrifying fear of returning home empty-handed. You've made it, the American River. Here, romance dies in the first 10 minutes. Try to imagine you are standing waist-deep in water. The water is freezing. It's snowmelt from the mountains. Your legs cramp up. The sun beats down so hard that the skin on your neck peels off in strips. Gold doesn't just lie on the surface. You have to shovel through tons of gravel. You scoop soil into a metal pan, swirl, wash away the sand, again and again, 10 hours a day. Your back aches, your fingers won't uncurl. And at the end of the day, if you're lucky, a few ounces of gold dust, if not, just fever, a cold, and calluses. Gold here isn't wealth. It's just a way to survive one more day. But who actually made money in California? Turn your head. See that man in dry clothes under the awning? That's the merchant. He is the true king of the gold rush. In 1849, the economy went insane. There was plenty of gold, but very few goods. Let's look at the prices. Adjusted for modern context. One shovel, $300. A pair of boots, $2,500. One egg, $25 per piece. A single onion or potato could cost an ounce of gold. Sam Brannan, the man who first spread the news of the gold discovery, didn't dig for it. He bought every shovel in the region for pennies and sold them for 50 times the price. He became California's first millionaire. prospectors gave away everything they found just to keep from starving. It was called mining the miners. The sun sets and the camp transforms. There are no police here, no sheriff, no court. The only law in 1849 is the six-shooter on your belt and lynch law. Look at this saloon. It's just a tent with a plank for a bar. The whiskey here was of such quality they called it scalp remover. At the gambling tables, fortunes earned through months of hellish labor were lost in a single deal of cards. The atmosphere here is tense to the limit. Racism thrived. Americans drove Mexicans, Chinese, and indigenous people off good claims. Land disputes were settled with bullets. If you found a rich vein, your main task wasn't to mine the gold, but to live until morning so it wouldn't be stolen. In this chaos, a human life was worth less than a sack of flour. By 1855, the easy gold was gone. The rivers were dug up, mountains washed away by hydraulic cannons, leaving scars on the earth that are visible to this day. Most who came here chasing a dream returned home poorer than when they left, or didn't return at all, remaining in unmarked graves. But look around now. Out of this mud, out of greed, out of the mixing of languages and cultures, California was born. The gold rush didn't disappear. It just changed form. Yesterday, it was nuggets in a river. Today, it is startups in Silicon Valley. The spirit of adventure, risk, and the belief that one lucky strike of the pickaxe or one lucky idea can change a life remains forever in the DNA of this place. Thank you for walking this path with us. Which historical era should we reconstruct next? Victorian London, the building of the pyramids, or perhaps the trenches of World War I? Write your choice in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe. See you in the past.